Good morning, live from Caesars in Las Vegas for Snowflake Summit. I'm Ryan Green. Welcome to Data Cloud Now. I'm joined by Tim Long, Global Industrial GTM Lead for Manufacturing at Snowflake. Such a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the program, Tim. From a macro perspective, what are the forces moving the manufacturing industry forward, and how is Snowflake playing a pivotal role?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great to be here. Thanks for hosting this. I'd say there's really three big forces at play right now in manufacturing. The first one is how to return resiliency back to a supply chain. We've all seen what can go wrong in supply chains this year, right? Murphy's Law is in full effect. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And we've certainly seen the effects of that. Some estimates as much as $4 trillion of financial impact due to these disruptions. So there's a big focus on refactoring supply chains, getting them back to stability. The second thing is all about further investment in automating and creating smart factories, right? So this is the idea of leveraging all this big data that's created from these factories and bringing artificial intelligence to the table to improve efficiency and output at a whole new level. And that's what we call Industry 4.0. Then lastly, there's an exciting world of these connected products, thinking of cars, wind turbines, anything with power is likely to be collecting data and sending that back to manufacturers to do some really amazing things for their customers. Estimate of 35 billion devices, as high as 35 billion devices online.
Wait. 35 billion IoT devices?
Exactly.
It's hard for me to comprehend.
It's mind-blowing, yes.
To take that one step further, Tim, what does that mean for the companies that are able to actually get a hold of that data and make use of it?
Yeah, so the good thing is Snowflake helps in that, right? Ability to collect massive amounts of data through our streaming capabilities, working with this, somewhat messy and difficult data. Snowflake makes that a lot easier. So manufacturers who are bringing that into Snowflake, they're doing really one of three different things. One area that's really interesting is they can actually improve the quality of these devices based upon signals and maybe error codes they're getting back from the devices. I mean, for example, my oven upgraded itself at home.
I like the use case.
And it had this thing, it was rebooting, and all of a sudden that problem went away, and I asked the technician, he said, yeah, there was an over-the-air update that came in, and my oven is now operating at better capacity. So that's happening everywhere.
Right.
And manufacturers are using that data to improve quality. The second thing they're doing with this data is they're thinking about how do I provide better services to my customer? So making really precise recommendations on when preventive maintenance may be needed on a vehicle or on any asset really that's operating out there.
It's so applicable to really everything, to your point, too.
Exactly. Nobody wants to change out parts too early or too late in these assets. And then really the third thing is about thinking about the future, understanding really how these products are being used to engineer and design future generation of product that is really specific to what consumers want.
I want to get your perspective. We started this interview from a macro perspective. I know you are attending many supply chain and manufacturing events. What are you hearing, and what have been some of the major takeaways?
Well, I would say it's all about data.
Right.
That's the good thing. And really it starts in the supply chain about sensing when trouble's going to occur.
Right.
And then having the right data and information to make a smart decision on how to react. And Snowflake's playing a great role in bringing people together with our data collaboration technologies.
I mean, you can talk about collaboration. You can hear the energy and the excitement playing out in real time right around us at Snowflake Summit. As you look towards the future, Tim, what's top of mind for you?
Well, maybe double clicking on the supply chain just a bit more. What we're seeing is really manufacturers starting to connect and the supply chain is a network.
Right.
Right. It's about moving goods, from raw materials to a consumer. And what they're looking to do right now is actually create connections in Snowflake using our data collaboration.
Oh, fascinating.
Right? So actually implement a real network of data. So collaborating with subcontracting manufacturing organizations, logistics companies, suppliers, and other partners to really improve communication throughout that supply chain. So that's really exciting to see. And then lastly, Our Snowflake marketplace has all this really rich content, this context of what's happening in the world around.
Major announcements, recently.
Absolutely, and one of the most exciting parts of my job is I work with these industry experts who have wisdom that's locked in their internal warehouses, and we want to bring that online to Snowflake customers so they can monitor supply risk in real time, speed of shipping products and goods and forecasted costs, availability of raw materials. All of that is really necessary for manufacturers and supply chains to really get back to that resilient state and move into the future.
It's a common thread that we've talked about on this program is collaboration to impact and playing out in real time. I want to dive into something that you mentioned earlier in the program, and you reference industry experts. I've heard this term, Industry 4.0.
Right.
How is this, relevant now and, being invested in?
Yeah. Well, for those of you who may not be familiar with Industry 4.0, it's essentially a recognition of the step function improvement that's occurred. Industry 1.0 was all about bringing basic, mechanization to manufacturing through steam power. And then, of course, we had improvement with the assembly line, right? And that improved efficiency and production of manufacturers. Massive investment in computers and computerization, automation over the last 20 to 30 years. And here we are now with all this data,
right.
And we're looking at how would we bring AI to that data. And so organizations are really now at the point where they're accelerating in this journey. 90% of manufacturing CIOs are investing more into Industry 4.0, especially given the challenges of access to certain types of labor.
Right.
And they're finding this is a great investment to get greater efficiency and quality from the products. So it really is, the time is now for Industry 4.0, and technologies like Snowflake and our wonderful partners here today are really helping make that happen.
Tim, I really appreciate your perspective of how we've got here, but also looking towards the next chapter. Thank you so much for joining me on Data Cloud Now.
Thank you.
To the audience watching, if you want to catch Summit keynotes and more, make sure to catch the on-demand replay at snowflake.com/summit/livestream to explore all the newly announced product innovations. I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. We'll see you soon.